Good afternoon, graduates! It's hard to imagine a better place to be than right here, right now, celebrating the Wharton MBA class of 2026. Before I do anything else, let me welcome the parents, partners, families, friends, and loved ones who traveled to Philadelphia to share in this proud day. Your unwavering support has been instrumental to your students' success. Students, please give your families a round of applause. So today is also a celebration of all of the ways in which you have helped your graduates cross this stage. I also want to welcome my Wharton faculty and staff colleagues. You are the reason our students' educational experience is possible, and your guidance and dedication to their success shows up in every one of the graduates sitting before you. On their behalf, thank you. And lastly, a huge welcome to each and every one of you, the Wharton MBA class of 2026. When you started on this journey 2 years ago, I challenged you at your convocation ceremony to move through your experience at Wharton with accountability and intentionality. To think not just about what you would do here, but to consider what it would mean to be a member of this community. I told you the world looks to Wharton graduates for advice, for leadership, and for solutions to big, complicated problems, and that your Wharton education would shape not only your own future, but the future of others. And now, 2 years later, you are on the cusp of another monumental transition, which brings me to what I'd like to focus on today. As graduates of the first, and I think you will agree with me when I say the best collegiate business school in the world, you've built the skills to make an immediate impact wherever you go. But let's be honest, you're also stepping into a world that feels a little complicated. Every day, we're reading conflicting headlines pulling us in different directions. We're bombarded with discussions about the risks and rewards of generative AI and the tensions of our ultra-connected community. In the time you have been at Wharton, you have witnessed companies and industries rising and falling in real time. It's a lot. But it means that leadership today requires a fundamentally different set of capabilities than what we've typically asked of our leaders. Yes, you've spent your days mastering how to think analytically, how to apply data to solve problems, and how to see multiple sides of an issue. Those skills will always matter. But in today's world, they're simply not enough. So before you start your next journey, let me offer you one last framework to guide you through the new demands of leadership. I know, one more framework, but I think you can handle it. Some of you may know that my academic expertise is in crisis leadership, and I've spent decades studying how people navigate volatile environments. So trust me when I say, while history has never been short on challenges, the speed and scale of change today will test not just what you know, but how you respond. So I've been asking myself lately, what do leaders actually need to succeed in today's environment? And I keep coming back to 4 distinct pillars of strength: relational strength, intellectual strength, physical strength, and emotional strength. Okay, now time for a little call and response. Say it with me. Relational strength, intellectual strength, physical strength, and emotional strength. Okay, I need you to remember those because there will be a test at the end. All right, so let's start with intellectual strength, because that's probably what brought you to Wharton in the first place. Intellectual strength is your capacity to think strategically, to process information, and to make sound decisions in uncertain situations. Intellectual strength is essential in today's world, but it's also mere table stakes. You can't lead without it, but you also cannot rely on intellectual strength alone. So what else do you need? Relational strength. This is your ability to understand people and ultimately being able to inspire them. Today's leaders must navigate a complicated maze of stakeholders, including clients, customers, employees, board members, investors, regulators, you name it. Each one sees the world through a different lens and has their own priorities. On top of that, there are more ways than ever for people to respond to and challenge what you say, creating a potential cycle of backlash and response. This cacophony of voices means that you are not the sole author of your or your company's narrative. So you have to listen deeply to the feedback you receive from others, even when that feedback is uncomfortable to hear. Because you won't be able to inspire people to act if you don't take the time to understand where they're coming from. Next is physical strength. Now, I don't mean you need to become a bodybuilder to be a good leader, but leadership does require physical fortitude. You will face sustained, immense pressure for long stretches of time where the stakes are high and the demands don't let up. You've heard that leaders need to be resilient, that they should be able to get knocked down, bounce back, and keep on going. That matters, but it's reactive. So in addition to resilience, today's leaders need stamina. Unlike resilience, stamina is proactive. It is built over time from purposeful, repeated exposure to the stressors of today's environment. Stamina is what allows you to recover from challenges and to stay steady through them. So as a leader, I urge you to train your mind and your body to withstand the pressures that produce exhaustion and burnout. I promise you, doing so will reveal what you are truly capable of. And finally, there's emotional strength. If physical strength measures how you handle pressure, emotional strength helps you keep your cool when challenges arise, but also when opportunity comes knocking. Within emotional strength, there's one quality I want to highlight: patience. I know I'm talking to a group of Wharton graduates, perhaps the most ambitious people on the planet. So to you, patience is probably a four-letter word. But I've learned from my own experience in higher education that patience is crucial. You can have all the intelligence, all the relationships, and all the physical stamina you need to excel, and still find your plans disrupted by something completely out of your control. A leadership change, an unexpected revenue shortfall, a scandal in your firm or industry, or even a global pandemic. In those moments, the hardest thing you may have to do is set your own plans aside and wait. This may feel counterintuitive, especially in a world where most of your wants and needs are a swipe or a click away, because you, and especially you Wharton grads, are hardwired for positive momentum. But the arc of your career will be long and won't always move up and to the right. Prepare yourself now for life's inevitable twists and turns, by getting comfortable with the idea of being patient. And I can tell you from experience, patience is far more powerful than it looks. A quick personal story. I accepted the role of dean at the Wharton School in February of 2020, just before the pandemic changed everything. The selection process leading up to who would be announced as the next dean of the school lasted for months. But through it all, and at the risk of being a little presumptuous, I began to visualize myself in the role. I was creating plans and building a vision of what I wanted to do in my first 90 days. But by the time I actually started in the job, a few months later, the impact of the pandemic was in full effect. Now there were more urgent priorities than the agenda that I had planned. So I had to be patient and put my plans on hold to respond to the immediate needs of the Wharton community. This didn't mean I had to give up on my ambitions for the school. I just had to give it more time to bring them to life. And that's what patience really is. It's not inaction. It is a long-term investment in what you're building. Not now is not the same as not ever. So, now's the time for your final test. I told you there would be a test. Hopefully it's an easy one. I want you to turn to the person sitting next to you and recite to them the 4 pillars. Ready, set, go. Okay. Raise your hand if the person sitting next to you got all 4 of them right. I don't see every hand raised. Okay, relational, intellectual, physical, and emotional. When you put them together, you get the acronym RIPE. A gentle reminder that becoming ready to lead takes time. As a graduate of the Wharton School, you have just made a tremendous investment in your intellectual strength. And though term papers and exams may be behind you, learning should not be. My hope is that your most impactful leadership journey still lies ahead. And my advice is simple: don't rush it. See patience not as a punishment or a dream deferred, but rather view it as an advantage, as the time and space to continue building the relational, the intellectual, the physical, and the emotional strength that you will need to define the kind of leader that you become. Because when you take the time to develop and grow in all 4 dimensions, you will be ripe for any opportunity that comes your way. So on behalf of everyone at the Wharton School, congratulations to the class of 2026!